guys, welcome back to Art Party Now. I'm John McClain, the artist, and today we're going to draw another one of my favorite characters of all time and one of the most iconic figures of the last century. I'm talking about Donald Duck. So grab something to draw with and let's start the party. Alright, so as you can see, I've got Donald all sketched out with blue pencils on gray paper. And if you want to see how I get the pencil lines there from scratch, you can click the link in the description, watch the video how to draw Pinocchio with pencils. But for those of you who are ready to dive in and go straight to the Sharpies, let's rock and roll. So I've got my blotter paper underneath to keep the Sharpies from bleeding through. Got my king size Sharpie and my fine point Sharpie for the details. So hopefully by the end of this adventure, we'll all have our own representation of one of the greatest animated characters of all time. So let's go.
So we're gonna start by drawing Donald's beak right in the middle of his face because everything branches out from there. So we start with the shape on the top of his beak, and then we come with a big swooping line for the bottom of his beak that kind of indicates his smile. And then we do another kind of looping shape underneath, another one parallel to that, and just a little triangle shape for the tongue. Then once we have this shape, we can put in the eyes. Make the eye that's farther away a little bit smaller, the one that's closer to us bigger. Once we have the eyes, put in the pupils with a little bit of a highlight. Use the fine point Sharpie for the little bitty highlight, and then put these little teardrop shapes on the top of his bill there. Big arching eyebrows right over his eyes, and then a little bit of scraggly hair kind of coming out from behind his eyebrows. And we can kind of put in the edge of his hat there. I'm going to do one big curving line with the front side of his hat, another curving line for the back side, kind of just like this little backwards arrow shape. Now we're going to put in a little bit of scraggly hair on the back of his head there, connected to the other side of his beak. And now we've got Donald's face. So then, right from the center of the bottom of his bill, we're going to do little kind of arrow shape for his neck, and then we can put in his bow tie. It's kind of just like a butterfly shape. A couple little lines to indicate the folds. And once we're there, do a couple little lines on either side of his neck to show where his collar is. And then we can start putting his arm right out of his shoulder there. And as I always say, hands are the hardest part, but with cartoons it's a little bit easier than actual anatomically accurate hands, because that's why they only draw cartoons with 3 fingers. So it's a little bit easier to draw. So once we got the thumb and the fingers there, we can do the other underside of his arm, and then a little bit of a band on his wrist there for where the gold part of his coat's gonna be. So then we come over and do the other hand. I usually like to start with the thumb, and then 1, 2, and 3 fingers. A couple little lines on the bottom of the fingers there, and a little curving line to show where his palm is. We do another curving line right into his armpit. Circular line to show where his cuffs are, and then add that other little gold band there. Then right below the bow tie, put a couple oval shapes where the buttons on the front of his coat are. And we're just gonna do one big curving line for underneath the bottom side of the coat. And then kind of do like a little bit of a swooping, curving, kind of scraggly tail. Space where his feet will go. So I'm right out of kind of where his tummy is. Kind of do a leg and a knee, and 3 little bumps with the webs on his feet, and a big swooping line for the heel. Same thing on the other side, 3 little toes. That's it.
All right, and there we have it. So I'm gonna speed up the video, go back and darken in some of these lines. So stick around because you won't want to miss the final result. So there's our finished drawing of Donald Duck with black Sharpies. So if you've been drawing along with me, and I hope that you have, right now would be the perfect time to adjust your lines, smooth everything out, because then the only thing left to do is color this thing in. So let's rock and roll. Alright, so that's about all I'm going to color in for right now, because as always I'm going to let my 3-year-old daughter May finish coloring this in with me and finish the party with a bang. So make sure you stick around for the rest of the coloring experience, and let's keep the party going. Alright, this is where the magic begins. I've got 2 different shades of blue and a white pencil. And I'm going to use all 3 of those to color Donald's eyes. All right, now that we've got Donald's eyes, I'm going to finish coloring in his clothes. So trust me, You won't want to miss this. All right, so now that we've got Donald's clothes all colored in, I'm gonna use a combination of yellow and orange to color in his beak and feet. Okay, now you're about to see the most satisfying part of this entire process. I'm gonna use white to color in Donald's feathers. This is a total game changer when you use white on colored or gray paper because it's really gonna bring Donald to life. All right, well, that about does it. I'm gonna go back and add a couple more finishing touches, so stay tuned for the final reveal. Hope you guys had fun in this episode of How to Draw Donald Duck, and we'll see you at the next art party. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If you had fun or learned anything, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing because it really does help out our channel. Thanks again and have a beautiful day.